let's take a look at the 10 cards I added to streamline this deck. I'm less worried about playing 2 lands per turn and more wanted the card draw AC provides. I also wanted to add a big hitter into this deck that can capitalize on the ample ramp in the deck, synergizing with that game plan even further. One thing this deck sorely lacks is interaction. While you're more focused on getting ahead and being the biggest problem on the board, I do want more options to deal with threats at instant speed, and Bitter Triumph fits the bill. This is one of my favorite cards in black, especially in decks that care about the graveyard so much like this one does. I've never encountered a moment where Incarnation Technique felt lackluster after casting it. There are very few cards that interact with 10% of your deck for only 5 mana, and this even has added recursion on top for some Tval triggers. It's absolutely worth the price tag. I like the idea of adding landfall payoffs, and Iridescent Vine Lasher can quietly put someone into the red zone if you cast it early. Doubling up on those triggers with Offspring just means this card retains its value even if you aren't casting it on turn 1. In theme with that landfall idea, Mossborn Hydra makes a threat for people to worry about other than Tval. Fully committing to landfall would take this deck into a bit of a different direction, but in playtesting I found it's really not hard to get value from these cards splashing them in. Primeval Bounty feels a little bit win more, but it gives us something to dump mana into that will continue to generate value whenever you take a game action. I liked it for the modality and wide range of utility. Card draw and mill are kind of synonymous in this deck, but it is sorely lacking in the former category. I wanted to stabilize that a bit, and Sivrus can do both. Low-key, this is kind of a sleeper of the best 10 added to this list. Take a look at the Sultai Fallout Precon for inspiration, because you could practically swap the 99s between these two and it'd still function well. Rad counters would work well in this deck, but Tato Farmer helps get extra lands out of the graveyard if it's starting to flood. If you've watched my videos before, you know how much I love Tomb Fortress and its more expensive cousin, Takenuma Abandoned Mire. With how many lands we're going to have, exiling this one on a later turn really doesn't feel that bad, especially if you need the recursion for something like Colossal Gravereaver. Modality. With mill and a Tval trigger, removal, weaker removal, don't pick option 3, or a little bit of life gain, you're most likely picking between the first two every time you play Witherbloom Command, but who knows? Maybe there's some super niche scenario where you need 2 extra damage to kill someone and it'll come in clutch. And I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention this card. Crucible of Worlds is 25 at its cheapest and would have eaten into my $50 budget, but it would definitely make a big impact in this deck if you want to shell out for it.